So hi everyone, it's Belle here, and tonight I'm talking to my friend Sue, and she's got absolutely amazing story to share about her life and her journey. And I'm pretty sure that you will find it an encouragement once you listen to her journey from where she was to where she is now. So hi Sue, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, Bill. Thank you for connecting. It's beautiful to connect with you and also your community as well. So
Oh,
thank
that's
you.
okay. You're most welcome. So, tell my tribe, my people, what it is you do and who you are.
Yeah, beautiful. So I'm Sue Moore from Inside Out International. That's my company. And I help women primarily who have been diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, help reclaim their health so that they can live their happiest and healthiest version of themselves. Um,
Right.
yeah, and I also help other people who've had also lifestyle diseases, chronic lifestyle diseases too. So yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
what were you like before your sickness?
Yeah, so Bella and I were talking, so just to catch everyone else up to speed. Um, so I was diagnosed with MS, multiple sclerosis, back in 2014. I was training for a marathon, and it
Wow.
was 2 weeks out from the marathon. I had a migraine, and that migraine lasted 5 hours and left me completely numb down the right-hand side of my body. And I was unable,
Scary.
yeah, very scary. And I was
Yeah.
unable to feel my right foot. So I kind of thought maybe it was a stroke or something when I woke up, when I recovered from that migraine. And then after months of tests and a full body scan, I had a visit with, went to see a neurologist, and he said that I had 8 lesions on my brain. And that's why I received a diagnosis of MS, multiple sclerosis. So yeah, yeah. So but then, as most people here, I suppose, when you have received a diagnosis, your world as you know it completely crumbles down, and that's what happened to me. I kind of
So
mourned, grieved.
before you
Yeah.
continue, what does MS do to your body actually?
Yeah, great question. Well, MS is a autoimmune disease, and it's different for everyone. It's one of the terms that they call it an invisible disease, like a snowflake disease, because it does affect people differently. Autoimmune disease is when your body it starts to attack itself, so the myelin sheath and the central nervous system. So people have lesions in different places. Mine just happened to be on the brain, which affected the right side of my body. But everyone is different who receives a diagnosis. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. How long were you incapacitated for?
Yeah. So um, the well, let me backtrack. The neurologist, he said that it was an incurable disease, and he recommended some medications that might help prevent the symptoms and might also help prevent future attacks. He said it was incurable, but they might help. But then he also said they might not help. So I was looking at that and thinking, well, that felt like playing Russian roulette with my body. And it just didn't make sense when I looked at the whole list of side effects of these recommended medications. So I went on a bit of a holistic route on Google, and I researched, and I found other people who had been diagnosed with MS, who'd still been able to run. I really identified with being a runner.
Right.
Um, and so I started my journey of taking a holistic approach. And I found a article which your listeners might be interested in, the Institute of Notic Sciences. And it was a study done for worldwide over 3,000 people who had spontaneous healings, spontaneous remissions from incurable diseases. And that spiked up my interest. And that was proof to me that if they could do it, I could too. I just had to find my own why. And incurable diseases like from cancer, autoimmune disease, and a number of other illnesses. So I was fascinated by that. So it basically took a holistic approach updated my diet a little bit more, started meditating, did kinesiology sessions, reduced my stress, moved to a warmer climate. And in a 9-month period, I went back to the neurologist office, and he said, out of the 8 lesions that you had back then, so this was in a 9-month period, most of them had completely disappeared.
Yeah.
And there was only 2 that remained back then, and they had significantly diminished. And that was through no medical intervention whatsoever.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, thank you, Bells. And fast forward to like now, I'm symptom free and lesion free, and just really happy now to share what I went through and to help other women who are encountering a similar thing, and give them hope and inspiration that they can do it too. Yeah.
Yes. So
Yeah.
did you, because the doctor said, the neurologist said that
Mhm.
your disease was incurable,
Mhm.
they were not offering you any conventional treatments at all?
Yeah, they did. So they said,
Okay.
yeah, so they did suggest medication that I could go on. And
Okay.
yeah, and the reason I chose that was because of the side effects of these drugs, and the fact that he said that it might help prevent future attacks, but it might not. So I suppose I trusted my gut and my heart, and really the faith of knowing that the innate intelligence that created us,
Mm-hmm.
and believing that I created the disease, then I could also uncreate it. So
Right.
I just had to unpack what that would look like for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your family must have been, I mean, obviously very supportive of your decision to go holistically, right?
Yeah.
Because I know when I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2017, obviously the doctor wanted me to do chemo, radiation, and the whatever the treatments are, and I didn't want to do it, but I gave in and I did 2 sessions of chemo at the start. So what was that conversation like with your family when you said, I'm gonna do this holistically?
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. And I think having a solid support team around you. My
Mm.
husband is amazing. Rod, my husband, is just a rock. He's such a good, strong, emotional support and believer of me. He's my #1 fan, really,
Of course.
and me of him too. And I think that was really important, and he trusted me and my decisions and my choices and journey, and he supported that. And I think that's really important, I think, for your listeners, is to surround yourself with people who believe in you. And sometimes you've got to pull on that belief that when you have down days, because I did, it wasn't walk in the roses. I did have down days, absolutely. Had some horrible days along the way where I didn't believe in myself, but then my husband was always there, that just held that faith and that trust and belief. And friends as well were my true circle of friends were very supportive of me too, and believed and trusted in me. So yeah, that was important.
Yes. So you started changing your diet, you said. What was your diet like before MS?
Yeah, great question. Well, my diet before, obviously, because I was training for a marathon, it was pretty clean. I was, I suppose, inverted commas, a traditional athlete was, eat a lot of carbs before, and it was fairly healthy. I did have sweets and a little bit of alcohol, but not too much. But afterwards, after the diagnosis, I looked into what diets would work, and I found an amazing lady called Dr. Terry Walls, and I followed the Walls protocol, and that's mainly paleo based, and that worked for me. So I cut out basically sugar, dairy, and wheat, and within a space of maybe a week, 2 weeks from memory, the brain fog that I had had completely, disappeared. So I really had clarity of my thoughts again. And then my symptoms gradually got better. I started have feeling again in my left hand. I was able to write properly, and then so the symptoms started to diminish. But through that process, I started tuning in more to my body and what my body actually needed, and became what I call more of an intuitive eater. And that's what I help my clients now with. Like, everyone's as unique as their own fingerprint, and we have to find a blueprint, a health blueprint that's right for us. So paleo might be great for some people, or keto, or plant-based, or vegan, or whatever. So I tuned in, and so now I kind of call myself an intuitive eater, mainly by choice, because it suits my body. Probably about 90 to 95% plant-based, with a little bit like of salmon, or and I love chocolate, but I actually found a love of cooking from scratch. So I actually like, if my favorite chocolate was Twix, then I'd recreate that in the kitchen without all the additives, or I started making my own chocolate, and so that was a beautiful thing. And my husband was quite impressed with my experiments in the kitchen.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
And so apart from diet, what is another main thing that helped with your recovery and your reversing your disease?
Yeah, I think 100% would be mindset. Mindset and meditation. Mindset being that the identity of it. I never identified with MS, the disease. I never doctors or people, and quite rightly so. It's a diagnosis, and at least a benchmark for where they are. But you often hear people say, "I am a," and then fill in the blank, or "I have cancer," or "I have MS," or whatever. I never identified with that. And I think my mindset was quite strong in the fact that I in my meditations, very clearly, I identified with, and that's what I help my clients with, a creation of what is whole health. So I identified with already being whole, and healthy, and just imagine that this was a little blip in my health journey. So identity is massive.
Yes.
Yeah.
How do you do you have a sense of faith, and how did that
I
help
believe
your journey?
Yeah, I totally believe in a higher power. I believe in creation, and I believe that everything is all energy. And I believe that there's an innate intelligence that runs through us. So universe, God, source, spirit, soul. Yeah. And I think that belief in myself to propel myself forward, helped with my identity from where I was. That was the work that I did in my meditation. So in my meditations, I and this is a technique for your people listening as well. In my meditations, I imagined and I rehearsed in my mind every single day that I was in the neurologist office, and I was seeing on his computer before with 8 lesions, and then after with none. And I went through this meditation every single day, this vision, and I was in that office. I could see him. We were both looking at the scans, and I was so grateful in that moment every day. I had tears of gratitude. It wasn't perfect every day, but that was my happy place,
right?
That I went to every day. So meditation was key, visualizations were key, and that scene actually happened in real life. Yeah.
So for the ladies that I have in my group that would say, easy for you, Sue, or easy for you, Belle, you're good at meditation. I'm not. My mind wanders all the time. Actually, confession here, my mind wanders all the time. So when I actually do meditation, I need to have a notebook beside me to write down the things that comes into my mind while my mind is wandering, and to just and to not be hard on myself, and to say, okay, I need to do some cooking later on about this, so I just put cooking, and so that would just eliminate the distraction for me. How could you help the ladies in my group that don't know how to meditate, or where did they start?
100%. I can so fully identify with that, Belle. My mom always used to call me Miss Fidget. I was always on the go, like so much energy. I just would cram 48 hours into 24. So, you know, the thought of meditating and sitting cross-legged, you know, for hours on end, I just thought, no, that's ridiculous. What a waste of time. So, you know, so I started small. You know, I also had heard of a couple of people who mentioned Dr. Joe Dispenza to me.
Yeah.
An amazing man, and his journey was that he had a quite severe accident from a triathlon race where he,
Yes.
yeah, and you probably heard this story. And he basically rebuilt his spine. And I thought, good grief, if he can do that. So I've stuck in the evidence. So if he can do that and now he can walk fine, then there's got to be something in it. So I got his book, You Are the Placebo, and I started doing a meditation in that. So that was the meditation that I explained before. And I put my vision of my future within that meditation. So I just basically stuck with it. I just thought, you know what, I've got nothing to lose. You know, I had zero to lose and everything to gain. And I just thought, if this has worked for other people, it can work for me too. And I just had to stick with it. And some days were horrid. My mind would just wander, and I just thought, well, I just, you know, thought about what to cook, what work to do,
Yeah.
you know, the shopping list, the bills to pay, and
the kids.
and yeah, 100%. And then other times I dropped into the zone and everything just clicked. So I think it's like anything, you know, if you're going to the gym and you want to get fit, I just showed up every day. I think that's the thing. That's the message, is just keep showing up, just little by little, keep moving forward, bit by bit, build momentum, and you will get there. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you say just start easy, what does that look like to you, to me? So if you say, Belle, if you don't know how to meditate, maybe just sit down and just concentrate on something. What? So tell me, how is it done for me if I want to start meditating? Because I get these questions a lot from my ladies, because I say to them, visualization is amazing, meditation is really helpful, and I just want your input on how can they start doing it for themselves.
Yeah, beautiful. I would highly recommend Dr. Joe Dispenza's meditations. If you hop on his website, drjoedispenza.com, and in his store, there's a whole load of meditations, and there's ones that I do quite regularly, and it's a 20-minute morning and then 20 minutes in the evening. So that's what I recommend with people when they come to me and they ask, and just 20 minutes, that's quite, you know, a good chunk of time that you can really drop in, silence your mind, but it's not like huge hours. So that's where I would start. And also there's so many different apps now, Belle, isn't there? Like Calm and a whole load of just find. I'd also recommend just to experiment with different types. There might be a guided meditation, or you might you know, just say a word or you know, stare at a candle. There's so many different types. Yeah. So just trial and error and find something that works for you.
Yeah, it's the quietening of the spirit and the mind, isn't it? It's just Yeah,
Just,
calming
yeah.
yourself down.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So aside from, what are the things that some of the ladies that you help, what are the like common factor that you
Mhm.
hear from them? Obviously disease is disease, chronic diseases, cancer, autoimmune diseases, MS, whatever they are. What are the common factors that you have picked up from helping other women?
Mm.
Yeah, that you have helped.
Yes, great question. I think the mindset and emotions would be key.
Right.
And when I say that, autoimmune in particular, it's when your body is attacking yourself. But
Yes.
if we also think about our thoughts, we are custodian of our thoughts and our feelings. But then sometimes our monkey mind or the little chatter,
Mm-mm.
it can go off. It can grab that steering wheel and be the, you know, drive you nuts in a way with all the negative self-talk. So
Right.
if you tune in and listen to that, then it's going to take you down a path that's not really supporting you. So I definitely help my clients with that. That would be
Yeah. So
number one.
are you
Mhm.
saying that uh, the biggest thing, or obviously, is the fear itself, right? And that's where the mindset bit comes in.
Mhm.
I think that uh, I find with helping other women with breast cancer, it's the belief that it's all over before you even try healing yourself
Mhm.
physically, emotionally, mentally.
Mhm.
And I
Yes.
think for us ladies who help other women with chronic diseases, uh, that we the biggest factor is the fear itself, and to overcoming that is the mindset side of it, that you
Yes.
are in control of the wheel. You're
Yes.
driving this bloody bus, right?
Yes.
You haven't been thrown under the bus. You are
Yes.
driving this bus. And
Yes.
that's what I share also
Absolutely,
with
absolutely.
them.
Yeah, 100%, Belle. It's so important to keep that in check, but also as well to be real. Like we're I believe that we're energy, um, we're light beings in our human body. So with that, you've
Yes.
got so much more potential that we're only starting to really tap into, and we think that we're just our human life living in our five senses. That's our humanness, and you've got to really, like I tell my ladies too, you've got to honor those feelings. That fear is real. It's a part of you that just wants to be heard. And I
Yes.
think if you, it's almost like a toddler or something that's demanding something. It's you can't shut the voice down. You've got to give it a voice and a platform so it's heard, and in the same breath, that's not the truth. Does that make sense? So
Yes. Yes.
it's a fear.
Recognizing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's a fear of the unknown in the future, a
Yeah.
future event that might not even happen yet. So
Yes.
I call it the what if and the what is game. So let me talk you through that. It's a technique that your ladies can take on board every day, especially in the world events right now. You can quite easily like let your mind run as to
Yeah. What
what's
if
going to
this
happen.
happens and what if that
Absolutely,
happens?
yeah. So
Yeah.
what if you're either living in the past or you're living in the future? So what if the chemo doesn't work? What if the radiation doesn't work? What if like
Yeah.
whatever the
Yeah.
story is? And
Yeah.
then what is what is right now? What is right now? I'm chatting with Val, I'm having a lovely conversation and connecting with your audience. What is your ladies might say, okay, so what is I shared a beautiful meal with my family. What is I was able to wash myself today. What is I saw a beautiful sunset, and it just brings it back into the present, the gifts of the present. That's what the true thing is. So it helps us bring back into our body, and then from that, breathing is another thing of grounding back in the body. And then
Yeah.
when you're back in the body, then you can like move forward and just say, okay, well, just baby steps from here rather than just, what if in
Yeah.
like 2,
Yeah.
3 years out. You're not there yet.
Yeah. That's
And
very, very helpful, and it's an amazing way of putting it.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the same way with me when I do not give cancer, the word cancer, its power. Too much
Mm-hmm.
power has been given it, and too
Mm,
much time and energy.
mm-hmm.
But if you put that time and energy towards healing and what it is that you can control, part
Yes.
of it is eating right, exercising, maintaining your weight, prayer, faith, meditation, friendship, laughter. Those are
Mm,
the things that we can control.
yes.
And
Yes.
the things, and giving the C word a power that people has been giving it is, it's overrated. And that's
Yes.
what I say to them. So
Yes. And
isn't that right?
yeah,
Give this,
100%. And if you're talking about the C, give the creator in you more power, the creator to actually create the future. Like, what future do I want?
yes,
And put power in that vision so that you've got like a strong, your compass knows where the direction's going. Yes, you have to deal with your day to day, and you're very clear on where you're going. So
yes,
that's a thing that I help my clients with, is that we really work on individually where they're heading, like what's the vision for them, what does the happiest and healthiest version of themselves, what does that look like? Do they want to
correct.
kick a ball with their grandkids? Do they want to
Yeah,
be able to walk unaided? Do they want to have like the energy to not have an afternoon nap, and go through the day, whatever it is, and start
yes,
small, start your little goals, start small, and have a really clear vision, so that's your
compass.
movie set. Yeah, that's your
Yes,
compass, and that's your movie of life that you're creating. So
yeah.
yeah, be the creator of your life. Yeah.
That's so amazing. So we're
Yeah.
so like-minded.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
beautiful, Mel. Yeah, that's
we
why we
just call it
connected.
differently, and we just
Yeah,
express it in a different way, but same
yeah,
concept.
yeah.
Yeah, that's so amazing. And so if the ladies wants to speak to you more or want to find out more about your work,
Hmm.
I will, if you send us the link,
I
I
will.
will
Yeah.
then direct them towards that, and they can touch base with you, if
Yeah,
that's all right.
beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. So, what does Sue have in the future now? So, what are your plans, and where are you
Yeah,
going? Where's your
yeah.
compass going?
Yeah, that's a great question. So my plans are to help more women, like, remember the beauty of their life, and the power that they have within them, and to live a more heartfelt life.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm passionate about. Personal goals for me, I'd love to run another marathon.
Wow.
Yeah, I did actually complete a marathon. I had to retrain myself to run again, and I did that in a 9-month period, and I ran the Gold Coast Marathon. And
Wow.
thank you. Yeah,
Impressive.
so once all the restrictions are lifted a bit more next year, then I'd like to run that distance again. So
Yeah.
I'll be back training. I'm only doing short distances at the moment, but that's on my goal list. Yeah.
Awesome. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Mm.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, my pleasure. My
It's
pleasure,
been
Belle.
so much an eye opener. I know
Yeah.
that we have, different type of diseases, but the same concept of overcoming and beating this disease starts from the mindset,
Hmm.
and take baby steps from there, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, and celebrate and have gratitude for your journey, and eventually, uh, you come to the point to see it as a gift in your
Yeah.
evolution to be in touch more with yourself. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
hear you. Well,
yeah.
thank you so much again for your time, Sue.
My
And
pleasure, Belle.
again, I'll put the link on this podcast as to where
Yeah,
they can contact you.
yeah. Beautiful, beautiful.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sue.
All righty. Bye,
Have
bye,
a great
everyone.
day.
Thanks, Belle.
Bye-bye.
Bye, 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 bye.